Newcastle, you saw the silence on the yourself or anything. The only best is to listen to it was this.
And we're back. Christian, what you like?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
I'm very good, especially now that you've sponsored the podcast and become an official sponsor. I'm buzzing.
What can I say? I've got a really keen eye for talent. I think you boys are going to go far.
That's too kind, Christian. You're too kind. How's things been, buddy?
Okay, mate, yeah. Just been teetering along, you know, as you've seen yourself through the pages this week. We've managed to get the 3 fight cards complete now. So, what I was boasting a few weeks ago is now a reality that we've got 66 fights matched across 3 shows. That's 132 fighters ready, game bred and ready to go.
Wow. So I've seen, obviously, there's been lots of manoeuvrements and headaches, should I say, during the week. How difficult and, well, basically, how difficult was it?
I'm sure any of my peers out there would tell you that building a fight card, I mean, takes fucking some know-how anyway to get going. But then when you've completed it, and then you get a message saying such and such is pulled out, and you think, okay, that's not too bad. Listen, no worries, don't you worry about it. I'll sort it. And by the time you've replaced him, another 3 have pulled out. It starts becoming heavy, you know. And I mean, I want to go on record and say I'm not going to name the fighter because, you know, that's not my game. But what I will say is we broke a record this week. We had a guy who agreed terms to fight, sorted everything out, and pulled out before I managed to make the poster. Which is a new for me. So, yeah, it's difficult, mate. It's hard. And with COVID as well, you've got to remember these guys are taking over for weeks, months waiting to fight, you know. So you can only imagine how good the show's going to be when it unravels.
Definitely. Some of the cards on that New Blood, that's going to be an interesting one, that. There's a few names on there who could potentially really stand out in the future.
Yeah, but we've got some really good names on there. With the New Bloods, it was difficult doing the New Blood card because we did want to keep it to all debutants or people who've never been in a pit. But then you think to yourself, well, the customers buying them tickets are going to watch people also want to see new talent, but they want to see the odd mouth watering one in there as well. So we do Scott Midgley against Richard Ben for the title in there. It's two good names, you know, and there's Carl Jones and Warren Jones, 2 big lump heavyweights going for the British heavyweight title on there, you know. And, you know, there's so we've got Adam Woodward, who's due to go from there up to Newcastle to fight Bullet Curran, as you know. He went on there and fighting for the New Blood lightweight title, and, you know, just some good scraps on there, mate. We've mixed it up a little bit, and we do think each of the 3 cards, when I look at them as a promoter, I know what it takes to bar people with money to come to a show, so you've got to make it worth coming to, and I believe all them 3 cards, when you look at them, are outstanding.
Have you had, what's the ticket situation been like? Because I see that you were saying that the others were void and you need to get in touch, for the fans need to get in touch.
No, that was a mistake on Spartan's part, don't worry. Well, not my part specifically, but the lads who are doing New Blood with me who are helping out and stuff, one of them managed to lose his box of tickets, so he'd only give so many out. So I said, listen, rather than mess about, let's just get new tickets without the date on because of COVID, and then tickets will be valid. So I recalled all the tickets, or just bin them, and we'll resend them again and log the numbers so we know what tickets everyone's got again. But it was just a bit of an headache. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Just a bit of confusion. Out of New Bloods, who's like potentially in your eyes got the most potential to shine?
It's again with New Bloods, it's going to be hard to tell because what you've got to remember is some of these kids are first time out, you know, and they're going to be fucking nervous. But you know, the ones that stick in the head, there's a good kid coming along called Leon Brazil.
Right.
and he's fighting a guy I've seen on the circuit before a few times called Sean McDermott, but I'm confident this Leon Brazil, got good evidence, is going to be one to watch in the super middleweight division. Another one I want to mention is Emmanuel Alaru. He only turned 17 a few days ago.
Wow.
And he makes his debut on New Blood, and let me tell you, I've seen this kid train, and I've seen him, working himself ready for the fight, and this kid's going to be a beast,
Yeah.
Others honourable mentions, people I'm looking forward to seeing is Decker Holford. He's coming with a bit
against
promise.
Liam Marshall.
Yeah, actually, the opponent's changed.
Right.
Marshall. I'll announce that tomorrow when I've got the OKs, but Liam's just going to concentrate on fighting on Tyneside.
Right, well,
where he goes and meets Jason Gates at Tyneside, so he wants to concentrate on that. Other people I'm looking forward to seeing on the show is Tommy Kiernan, one of the fighters at a sponsor. He's a nice kid, he's putting in the hard work, so good to see where he comes out on that.
We're important.
Other honourable mentions.
You've got a guy from my area fighting, Corey Edgar. I don't know him personally, but I just know he moved to that area. I'm not really familiar with him, but he's against Toby.
He called himself the Geordie Viking. So,
I like it. I like it.
So to have a few of the Geordies on the New Blood show, it's a proud moment for us, So
yeah, definitely.
We're trying to spread it between myself and Gary Purby up Newcastle, and like we've touched on before, we've got the New Blood with Tony Mayan and myself, and I expect in February I'm going to open 2 further branches. That will make 5 more branches that will cover the width and depth of the country, and
wow.
They'll have 4 fixed permanent venues, and the main show, hopefully in time, will travel to all of them 4 venues. So where we have the shows each time in them towns, they'll get to see the main show at least once a year each.
Right. Moving on to Tyneside show. Obviously, it's a cracker. I honestly think you've done an amazing job putting that together from where it was. Honestly, I really do, Christian. I think you and your team need to be applauded on that.
There's no team.
It's you.
I'm only kidding. I mean, you've got to listen. There's a reason I brought Gary Purby on board. He's been in the fight game since birth, I think. And he knows every fighter, licensed, unlicensed, Bareknuckle, blood, just your MMA fighter. He knows them all, and he's brought some good names to the card in Jamie Jones, as you well know.
Yeah, definitely.
You've got Jamie Jones on the card. You've got the other kid as well. What's his name? Bullet Curran. He's an ex-pro. Chrissy Bennett. What fighters? You're bringing these fighters all to one card in Newcastle, and we're mixing them in with some of our lads as well. And I tell you, mate, Newcastle could be the potentially show of the decade, mate, in the Bales.
I'm telling you, there's some hellacious names on that card, mate. It's gonna be an absolute cracker.
Got young Joe Furby, the governor's son. So, we're looking forward to coming to Newcastle. Like I say, the 2 things that you can nail on a Geordie are they're passionate about football and they're passionate about fighting.
We love our fighting, mate. That's just definitely not even a secret. Definitely, we'll love our fights up here. Love it, mate.
It's all down to, I've noticed with these pit fight shows it's all down to atmosphere on the night, and what we've kind of got going now is when these shows happen and the crowd show up, everyone's subdued and they're in the bar having a drink before the show, boom, and that Spartan music comes on at the start. And we start telling people 10 minutes to show, mate, it's electric in that room, mate. You can't hear yourself think from the first to the last one.
I can't wait to be there, mate. I honestly can't. No.
Yeah, it's crazy, and we've never done it on a scale like we're going to be doing it in Newcastle. Let's get it right, I mean, the atmosphere is Spartan War 6. I'm telling you now, it'll blew your cap off, But you think about that with 750 people. But you put 1,300 people in the room, 1,400 people in the room. Hey, it's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be heavy, that, man. Real heavy. The atmosphere's gonna be buzzing, mate. Christian, there's one thing that, I've been reading a lot over the past couple of days. This governor belt thing. We need to clarify something up, mate. We need you to say on this matter.
Okay.
We need your vocals on this.
Are you confused about the 2 belt thing?
Well, I thought it was just the king of the cobbles. I thought that was what it was. You know what I mean?
This is the knowledge I can put on it from my perspective, is I've always maintained from day one, you know, the name, the governor, that was invented moons back before I was walking around in nappies. But Joey Pyle Sr. was the creator of the unlicensed, the game over there, the unlicensed game with Lenny McLean, Roy Shaw, you know. And
yeah.
Let's have it right. It's prestigious, man. It's a big thing.
It's a big title.
Governors down the line, as recent as our own Governor Norman, you know.
Yeah.
So a belt that's prestige, man. I've been going since 70s, 60s, 70s, you know. So, you know, take nothing away from that. That it's an honour, man. You've had Roy Shaw and Lenny McLean fight each other 3 times for it. You know, Cliff Fields and other people have been in on it. You know, there's a lot, man. There's a lot of prestigious name in that. But I did say at the very beginning that it's a different belt to ours. It's a different sport to ours. Or licensed boxing, don't matter. It's not bare knuckle pit fighting. Now, I know Lenny McLean used to say he was the king of the cobbles, and you know, and he's one of my idols looking up to, you know, as a fighting man. He was a very, very good fighting man, you know, and courageous to death, you know, just a brutal dude, you know. So yeah, let's have it right. He based himself a king of the cobbles because he was a bare knuckle fighter on the cobbles, beating people up, as he says in the film and documentary, he was busting people up for money, you know, bare knuckles on the cobbles. But that's not what he was the governor at. He was the governor at the gloved fighting game. I know they're going to say in history and time that he was the king of both, but I never seen him get awarded a belt for the king of the cobbles on bare knuckle on the floor.
And I've got to be very honest, the videos that are available to see, I never seen that.
No, there you go. So when I sat down with Norman, and Norman wanted to bring a belt out in his honour, in his name, you know, to be remembered in the game, and I sat down with him and I was unsure, and I thought of the logistics of it, and I thought, yeah, you know, he's right. You know, maybe we can have a governor belt. I mean, there's no patent on the governor. The belt is called the governor belt, our belt, the governor title. The Storman Norman Buckland governor title. The first winner of that title was Gary Furby. Now, a lot's been said in the last few days, and, you know, right or wrongly, Gary's going down. He's going to fight in London, whether he wants to or not. That's up to himself. He's an entity for himself, guys. I love him dearly, you know. And yeah, there should be good fights for the governor title. You know, Sven, great fighter, been a good governor as well, by the way. You know, true gent. You know, and Gary Meakin. I think it's only good for the belt that Joey's resurrecting. I think that's an amazing fight for the belt he's resurrecting. But don't be confused. You know, ours is for the king of the bare knuckle cobbles. You know, all right, we're in a pit. We're not exactly on the cobbles, but it's bare knuckle and it's fucking brutal, man. You know, and with the greatest respect to any fighter who gets in any arena or any pit, they've got my respect. But getting in a ring down in London, fighting with 10-ounce gloves on, does not put my belt on the line. My belt is for the hardest motherfucker in them hay bales with nothing on their hands. Bring on all comers, I don't give a fuck who it is. Once you've earned the stripes, it's available to have a fighter, you know. But that'll be a decision again made by myself, Norman Buckland, who created the belt with us, and with Gary, because he's the current governor. It's not going to be a belt that's fought for every couple of months. Yeah. You know, Gary had 110. I read something the other day where a couple of fighters said, it was a fixed fight when Gary won the governor title at Spartan. Let's get something fucking straight. The reason why the belt carries so much fucking punch is my fights are going to be fucking real. Every single one of them. Every one of them will be brutal. Brutal. And anyone who was there that night that watched that governor fight will tell you the first punch of the fight that Gary landed left a fucking fracture in his jaw, left a fracture in Kev Hall's jaw. And it's testament to that kid that he got to his feet and carried on fighting. You know?
Yeah. So, it's come to light.
in the face of fucking people's comments saying the fight was picked. Bullshit. If you'd have been there that night and you hear, or watch the video and you hear the impact of that first punch, mate, I'd take my hat off to Kev Hall, because if that was me, I'd have got a quilt and rolled up for the fucking night, mate. Yeah, don't be confused, the two belts. But the one they've got way older than ours, way more prestigious than ours, and some great names have held it. But it's exclusively fought in London with people from London or around the unlicensed scene and that.
Yeah,
I don't think he understands what we've created here at Spartan. Gary Furby's got it. The next two people who fight for it will have been good servants in the game. We've got a lot of fights behind them, and they're fucking gentlemen, and they'll get in. And I don't give a fuck if they're Mozambique. They're fighting for that fucking belt. We want the hardest man in the world to hold that belt. Now, Gary's going to retire on the back of winning that belt. That's his choice. He has the right to defend it if he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
But the next person that walks in them belts to fight for that belt, I imagine, is going to have had a lot of fucking fights, and they're going to be game bred and ready. You know, so keep your fucking eye peeled, man. The belt that Gary's got's got a lot of credibility already, because people know he got it the fucking hard way. He got in and done it on the cobbles like a fucking real beast, mate. So, fucking my hat's off to Gaz, you know. After all them years of boxing glove, he threw the fucking gloves off and got in and earned himself that belt, mate. So
it's a big switch.
He has my utmost respect, as any man will do that holds the belt from being a modern governor from now forward. Any man will have my full respect that wins Joey's belt. You know, we've always maintained, and we'll stick to our guns, and we'll say it again for anyone listening, our belt is in no way connected to the belt that Norman Buckland won off Roy Shaw, or was handed off Roy Shaw and Lenny McLean to him, or whatever. That's got nothing to do with us. Although it intrigues me and interests me because they're my people I look up to who won it, it in no way relates to my belt. My belt is the Stormer Norman Buckland Governor belt, created in November 2019, and will go forward. The only two pictures on that belt on the rings up so far are Norman Buckland, who created it, and Gary Furby, the first recipient. And every time that belt's passed, there'll be a new photo put in the window.
As it should. As it should, mate. Bring into that, Christian. Who's your top 5 BKB fighters?
Ooh, fucking hell. Do you mean
your era? Of your era.
My era. Okay, my era. Hopefully we're going back to Lenny McLean and all that. Okay, my era. Well, my era, my top 5 bare-knuckle boxers would have to be... Now, I'm not going to base this on being a so-called legend or being a fight record or anything else. Just people who've been really good for the sport and fucking pushed it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say in 5th place, I would like to say Nel Nalder of BKBTM. I first watched him at Raging Bull in Leicester, a company owned by Jay Wan, which is where I first seen Stevie Gold. Him and Stevie Gold fought that night, and it's still to this day my top 3 fights I've ever seen live, bare knuckle. It was a bloodbath, both of them just gave their all, man. It was one of the best fights I've ever seen, and he's gone on and he's pushed the sport forward, man. He's had some classic fights, you know. So I'm going to place Ricky Nalder at number 5. Number 4, I'm going to say Scott Midgley. Now, this is due to the fact that he had his part on TV on BBC One while he fought for BKBTM and other people. But not just that, he had a good career at BKBTM, you know. Listen, win or lose, Scott turns up and fucking stands and bangs.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Lovely lad as well.
Yeah, cracking lad, one, really good pal, a really nice kid as well. I was down with him the other week, I had a couple of sherbets with him. He's fucking wild, him, mate. Yeah, you know, he's done it all, man. He's been on TV, he's fought for them at the O2, BKB, I mean, I won't say them, no hostility here. And he's generally gone on then and he's fought on my shows for titles. All right, he hasn't been successful as yet as a title. He's in 2 more title fights coming up. I know he's coming to the end. He's fought on Bare Fist. All of them, mate, bad to the bone.
Yeah.
What a servant. So he duly deserves number 4. Number 3, I'm going to go with an old mate of mine called Tony Goward, aka the Leicester Bulldog.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, man, I've been in some iconic fights, mainly with Decker Heggie in the hay bales up at Dave Courtney's house. The fight, he lost that fight that day, but he fought that day with the full flu. Ill as fuck. But that, again, it tells you he's going up against a guy like Decker Heggie. He's dying of flu, still drives all the way to London, turns up, gets in, has the fight, mate. That fight's iconic on YouTube. It's had millions of views. So he's Bangworth number 3. Number 2, put me on the spot here. Number 2, okay, I'm going to go with someone who's not everyone's favourite, but again, been an iconic guy over the years. You know, Seth Jones from Wales.
Yeah.
The Banger Hammer. What a guy, man. This fight with Radford was crazy.
He's had some good scraps, Seth.
Oh, mate, he's
Some hella scraps.
I'm telling you now. I met him, I believe it or not, I met him in the lift at Cedar Court Hotel in Bradford just before his fight with Dave Radford when he got knocked out. And now another guy, another reason I'll pick this guy at number 2 is love of the sport. His father had died that week and he still turned up after burying his dad. And fight Dave the same week. He got knocked out, fair play. But hey, listen, in today's climate, when you're getting people pulling out before you put posters up, what a guy. So, you know, he's got to be number 2. Moving on to number 1, my favourite bare-knuckle fighter of the modern era of all time would have to be Dave Bradford.
Oh,
the Beast. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's had exhibitions with Nigel Benham for Roberto Duran, you know, and then he comes and has, you know, what a bare-knuckle fighter, you know, what a fucking guy. I mean, he fought James McCrory in 3 of the best fights you'll see in bare-knuckle. And, you know, and you know, take nothing away from it. Any guy in any sport. He was giving a little bit of weight away to James in all 3 of those fights. And he still put up good fights. I mean, and against someone like James McCrory as well, who's a cracking fighter, by the way. You know,
yeah. Good fighter.
Like I say, I didn't pick it on anything else apart from what people have done for the sport. But for since I come along, they would be my past best fighters of the modern era. For the future, all the fucking Spartans. They're coming from our angle, so you know, so there's a lot of people in the modern game now I feel have got the potential to make it as greats, and among them names are your Michael Marshalls, your Stevie Golds, your Robbie Adamsons, and he's gonna be a legend in the making.
Definitely.
Tony Meehan, his will to win is fucking, I've never seen anything like it, his will to get through, you know, so
big improvements, Tony.
Big name in the future, mate. You know, Darnell John gonna be another big name. Jamie Henry, another big name. Giovanni Capiateri from Italy, gonna be a huge name. David Mann, a huge name. So, and there's people at BKBTN, you know, as well. That when you look at the big name, I mean, the only reason I never named Jimmy Sweeney in the category I've just named is because Jimmy's still going, man. Jimmy's legacy is going to be there when he finishes. He's going to be one of the all-time greats for sure. And I didn't mention Ricardo Franco in that, but Ricardo speaks for himself, man. He is definitely a future legend in the game.
Yeah, they're both very, very, very good fighters.
Young, talented fighters out there right now, man. And in another 3 or 4 years, when they're game bred and they know the score, this sport's going to be fucking insane.
Tony's made some huge improvements during the lockdown. Huge improvements.
Yeah, man. His will, like I say, I mean, me and Tony have spoke behind the scenes. We know his plans. We know what he's doing. You know, and I want to say again on record about Tony Neal that he doesn't have to fight Troy Henry, win or lose, and then go on and fight Robbie Adamson if he's the champion. Tony, notoriously, everyone knows, gives away a stone every time he fights because he struggles to make it to 11 stone. So Tony had the option on Spartan 8 to give up the lightweight world title and drop down to fight for the British featherweight title, but he won't, because he won't step down until he loses that title in the pit. And He's fighting Robbie Adamson. He's fighting Troy Henry next. Then he fights Robbie Adamson. Then probably Chrissy Bennett after that. So you've got to take your fucking hat off, mate. That kid has got stones the size of your average cabbages, man.
Considering he's only had the 3 fights in the pit, you've got to
And 2 of them ended in seconds.
You've got to just give him his credit. Huge credit. The same for Robbie, man. Honestly, Robbie has said and went and done what he said. Literally, I'm going to give the guy 30 seconds. The first 30 seconds I'm going to give him, I'm just going to stand there and block, like, cover. And then he nailed him in the first 2.
Yeah, well, Robbie, even though if he's listening, he'll deny it. But I'm sure he give Jacob a 30-second head start just to piss me off. I'm telling you. He's fucking crazy, that kid. I'm telling you. What a fighter, though, mate. You know, he's a cracking fighter, like I say. Be a tasty one. I mean, let's not look past Troy Henry, because Tony's got a big fight against Troy. Troy,
definitely.
When he had his first fight in the pit, he evades punches well, and he's got sharp body shots, man.
Yeah, that's one thing. 2 well-conditioned fighters in the pit there.
Yeah.
Hugely.
It can only... I mean, Robbie Adams, someone said to me the other day, who do you think I win out of Robbie and Tony? I said, well, listen, I know everybody says Robbie. I know it. And, you know, you sometimes think you can't get away from experience, but I'm fucking telling you, mate, heart and the will to succeed shouldn't be overlooked, man. And Tony has them in absolute dumper trucks full. Yeah,
that's it. With any real successful sportsman, and especially fighter, that is one of the main keys of ingredients to success, and maintaining that sharpness. It keeps you mentally sharp as well. There's just an edge to the person who's got that determination, a real edge going into battle. When you've got that type of aura and will to you, it's fucking hard sometimes to overcome with just skill. It becomes basically.
It'll be. I think I coined a phrase the other day. I mean, it's a popular saying. But I did say to Tony at the time, it relates to you a lot. And he said, what was it? I said, you haven't got to be great to start, but you've got to start to be great.
Yeah, that's pretty wise, that actually. Very, that's...
So, you know, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Now, like you rightly said before, if you watch Tony's first fight against Kurt, he come in with his head down, thrashing the fucking fresh air to boom. You know, but on his fight with Brandon, you could see that after he'd weathered the storm, he was standing up and picking his shots a little bit better. So the penny's dropping each fight. So, you know, do I think the Robbie fight might come a little bit soon for him? Who knows? Do I think win, lose or draw, he'll walk away from it a far cleverer fighter? 100%.
Same here, I totally agree with that. I just think the videos he's putting out, just seeing from where that last fight was, I know it's just hitting a bag. I know everybody can look great, but there genuinely is some major improvements in what he's doing. And not just in punching the bag, he looks like he's hitting the bag harder. His movement, it's very, very big improvements in a short space of time, man, like it. I've told Tony this.
I don't know how he does it, mate, because every time he sends me pictures on Facebook, he's always drinking a can of fucking chocolate milkshake, or he's eating something. He's built like a Japanese racing snake.
Fucking genetics, mate. Genetics.
Well, listen, mate, I'm fucking well jealous. He looks like he could run to Cleethorpes and back in about 10 seconds.
He's in good condition, like, I will give him that. And Robbie will even admit this as well. He says that he'll train like that, but he's never really had the physique of a fighter.
No, yeah, that's alright. Yeah, he says he's got a dad bod.
That's the one, the dad bod. I didn't want to do that here, Robbie, but Christian said it first. So.
Yeah, man, listen, I know Robbie better than anyone. Listen. He put a picture on before one of his. This is how fucking crafty Adamson is. I hope you're listening. This is how crafty Adamson is. He put a picture up before his first ever fight for me, and it was of him mowing the lawn with a big gut on him. And he left it up for ages, and his opponent must have been looking at it thinking, this is going to be fucking easy.
Think again.
He's very, very good at mind games, is Robbie. Very good with his opponents.
Nah, he's a cracking lad. That's the, do you know what, honestly, Christian, I'm not just saying it, do you know, some of your guys, or some of the, like, even Matty will say this, some of the most fucking down-to-earth people, it's weird, because I was talking to Kyle, is it Kyle Fox the other night?
Yeah, Kyle is a nice kid, guy.
Nice kid. I was saying to him, I appreciate every pit fighter more because there's no getting away from it, and some of the injuries, like, could be hands potential. I know it's not like long-lasting injuries, months. I know it's weeks, but that's what some of the fans sometimes don't appreciate when they see them.
Yeah, you're dead right. You're dead right, mate. Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, that, I can't think of his name now, I have a bit of banter, but Sam Woolley is one of our heavyweights, big lad. He fought Warren Jones last time out, who's now fighting for the British title. Fucking hell, mate. The medic called me over and said, you're going to have to stop it, look at his finger. I looked, fucking hell. I couldn't get away from the pit quick enough. Honest to God, I was wrenching and all sorts. His finger was in the shape of the letter L. It was fucking awful. And then, just to top it up, I messaged his missus, if you're listening, Sam Woolley and his missus, and I inboxed her on Facebook, and I said to her, how's Sam doing? His fingers and that. She went, the silly bastard still throwing gang signs. Which was quite light-hearted. Glad to see he's on the mend now, and he'll be back for Spartan 8.
That's
but
funny,
yeah,
that.
like the crowd, you know, they get a concept of what's going on. You know, people get hurt, but I think if they looked at the injuries after, these lads deserve a fucking medal, mate. You know, it's brutal, man. And this is why I say again, you know, the completely two different sports, bare-knuckle boxing and bare-knuckle pit fighting, completely couldn't get any further apart.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. It's just the space.
And that just to reiterate that, that's why the two belts are different from the governor titles. Because they're two different sports, mate. Two different codes, two different sports. They've got the governor belt in gloves. You know, we're made up with that. I enjoy watching Joey's fights for the governor titles. I mean, you know, famously, I don't really get on with Decker for personal reasons. But, you know, all the other fights I've seen there been decent. The ones involving Decker weren't, but the others are all been brilliant. You know, and kind of, it is what it is. You know, they've got their belt, they're covered in the gloves, and I love it. You know, it's good to watch. But, listen, they're not doing what we do.
I'm right in saying, Christian, aren't I, that Decker was their champion until Gary beat them. Gary has beat Decker early in his career anyway. But Decker was their champion, wasn't he?
15 years ago, and Decker done him in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, and that was including the count.
Gary done him in 10 seconds. I did see the fight with Decker and Julius Francis.
I'm familiar with that. So how can they say that Gary's...
That's where he won his governor belt, and I wasn't convinced, but there you go. But that's down to them. That's them. You know, I don't get on with Decker personally. I've heard a few rumours that the fight wasn't legit, but you know, who knows? Who cares? Really, that's down to them and down to Decker and that. But like I say, I always thought Decker held the governor belt. I've seen he was going to be fighting Welsh Phil, which I was looking forward to seeing. But now it appears to be Sven Hammer against Gaz, so yeah. You know, I've spoken to Gaz, he's agreeing terms with Joey. Joey's got to agree terms with both fighters, I think. Spoke to Joey, well, I didn't speak to him, I inboxed Joey yesterday and said, you know, we're going to be bringing a sizable crowd up to back Gaz to watch him at the venue, you know, to watch him fight this fight. We want him to win the belt, you know, and sure, you know, and I do wish Sven a good fight as well, you know, obviously Sven's got his fans and they're going to back him, and I've watched a few of Sven's fights. I like how he fights. He's a proper fighter, Sven, to be fair.
Yeah, damn.
So a big day, mate. So I got in touch with Joey, told him there'd be a good sizable bunch was coming up, got one of them was coming up, have a watch. So
That's
know,
a
and I'm
big
sure
crowd,
it'll
man.
be a good night, and I'm sure it'll be a fight to remember, and it'll revive the belt that needs reviving with a good governor to hold it. Whoever wins out of them two can't get better than them, lad.
Nah, I definitely agree. I've seen some footage of Sven. Yeah, really good fight. I like the way he operates. Good body movement. But honestly, I think it's just a different Gary this time.
On Facebook the other week of Gary replying to Joey, I think it was.
Yep.
You know, and I've seen some comments, but he's saying that he was told he wasn't allowed to win the fight. So I don't know whether, you know, if I'm pushed, you know, obviously I'm going to believe Gaz. You know, but, you know, hopefully this fight will put all that to bed. And the public will get a fucking absolute barnstormer for the governor title.
I think it'll be even terms this time. I don't think, obviously with a big crowd that you just start taking down, I don't think anything will be allowed to be put across the Gary like that. I really don't.
No.
Definitely.
No, I think this time round, Gary's he's got his Bernard bonnet about this, and he wants to really win this title.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. That's why I said.
I speak to Gaz most days, but when I spoke to him when he agreed to do it, I spoke to him and yeah, man, it's something that burns within him. He's a fighter, man. You what you do, you know, you've got to fight for it. I'd have preferred it if he'd retired, but he wants to fight on, and hey, who's going to fucking doubt him? You know, so
Yeah.
like I say, the winner here is the public, because and the prestigious belt, because it's going to be revitalised, rejuvenated, and be with probably one of the two best people who could take that forward and represent it right now.
Yeah, definitely amongst them big men, you couldn't ask for two bigger and better boxers. Basically, no fighters to fight for it. That's just my opinion as well. Definitely agree with that. Public wins.
I've got a bit of advice for Gaz though. I know he come in for the governor title at 14.5 stone against Kev Hall, who was 19 stone. This is a different fight. I advise he lumps up really good, because I watched Sven the other day. He's a big old boy, Sven, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. Like, do you think with it being a bigger ring, Gary might just see if you could become a little bit quicker than Sven, operate a little bit quicker?
Yeah, I think he will, but I still think he could do that at 16 stone.
Yeah.
He's only 14.5, I reckon, or even 15.5. 15.5 or 15. He's got to come in really sharp, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. I think
so,
different Gary this time, eh? Like.
Today, who do I think will win out of Gaz and Sven? Well, you know, I've got to be dead honest and say that I'm always going to back Gaz. He's pal, isn't he? But, you know, out of the credentials, I've not seen a lot of Sven. I've seen a couple of his fights. I've took time to watch him since it was said that they were going to meet. Listen, he's a big, solid fella. You know, and he can box a bit as well, by the way. He's not bad.
Yeah.
He's got a decent jab on him, and he hits like a sledgehammer. So, you know, but listen, Gaz knows what he's doing. He'll get down there, and Gaz, win, lose or draw, will give 110%.
Well, as you know, we're going to be getting you in the studio on Saturday, so we're looking forward to that. So we'll actually get Gary's take as well on that matter. So you're just going to look forward to.
I'll be interested to hear that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Lord, can't wait to get you in the studio, mate. It's going to be a good episode. I really honestly think, because just like you say, a lot's happened within that week or two. So I just think it's just timed right. I just think it's timed perfect, mate. I honestly do. Do you want to give a shout out to any of your sponsors, mate?
Yeah, as always, rounding off. I'm stuffing my face with that. So as normal, it's Scott West Shellfish, out fucking standing. Extreme Clean, Stevie Stone, outstanding. Ecotech Systems, outstanding. And Pixie Lot Entertainment, outstanding. They're the four main sponsors. All the others, Pay Me Caps, Punk Bunker Supplement, the Governor Sports and Nutrition. Oh, fuck it. As always, mate, I can't fucking remember them all. But they all know they are, and I love every fucking one of them. And a massive, huge shout out to our fans specifically from Spartan. You have kept us going over this lockdown, honestly. You've kept the group entertaining. We've all kept going, we've all pulled together. Well proud of the fans, well proud of the fighters for ticking over for all this time. Light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to make inroads now. We'll have some news in the next few days about a few things, and we'll take it from there.
That's a start. Like, I'd just like to mention New Hemp. They've got every single product you could possibly imagine regarding CBD. If you're suffering from anything, anxiety, lack of sleep, you want to get a better night's sleep and stuff like that, honestly, check out their website. They've got lab results. They've got even a little blog on there for people to tell them how CBD's changed their life and stuff like that. Head over to newhemp.co.uk. Got a discount code here for you for 15%. It's plain and simple. All capital letters, Lee. Right, Christian. That's pretty much rounding it off, mate.
Can I just ask you something before I go?
Yeah, definitely.
Why the fuck didn't you shout Spartan Bareknuckle Fight Club out as a sponsor?
That was done at the beginning. I couldn't wait to get that out. But on the note, shout out to Spartan BK FightClub. They are not just the #1 sponsor of the podcast, but I can say this predominantly. In fact, Christian, I'm going to end the podcast and I'm going to speak with you. Right. That's it, fella. That's it, people. Watch out for the next episode, because this is the actual last podcast that we'll be doing from the room. It might not be the last one, but from Saturday, we're coming from the studio, so watch out. Peace.